Badlands and all that in like 2 weeks.
You doing Spartan?
I'm signed up for it. I'm thinking about it, so.
We'll talk later. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Austin Eartham.
And I'm Taylor Patton, and welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast.
We're here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you get 1% better in all areas of your life. Welcome to this week's episode. We're going to be talking about 7 types of influence that match up with 7 types of power, which also match up with 7 ways to influence. So we got the 777, that equals 21, the legal drinking age of the United States of America.
That's 10 plus 9.
This is going to be the kind of the finale of season 2. It's going to be a little bit more teaching, so if you don't like to learn, don't listen. Don't care. See you later. If you like to learn or you want to have influence, you want to have more power, you want to have more control over your life on this side of heaven, then I think it would be a good time to listen, because we're going to go through what Taylor calls a spider web of information. So bear with us. We'll share some stories along the way, obviously. Today we're going to be talking about strategic influence and how that relates to different types of power, and obviously the other ways of influence that we have talked about all season will come up as well. Some intro stuff here. The only news, well, we've been pretty real with you guys on what's been going on, I think, ahead of time. Like going with the Whoop thing, didn't get that. But I think we're both possibly going back to school here. So I'm trying to do sports psychology as a master's to, I feel like I need to have some more of a knowledge base in order to do this podcast a little bit better, and to have some sort of credentials to be able to not just have the experiences, but also have the credentials to speak and live out what I'm speaking about. And I enjoy learning about how people think and how we can get 1% better. So I'm literally going back to get my master's to help support that.
And I'm going back to school just to finish my degree.
There you go. Both got goals ahead, and we're going to try to reach them. So we'll see, 1, if we get in, 2, if we finish it. So that being said, challenge of last week was to ask somebody what you can do to gain their trust more, or something along those lines, maybe why they trust you, et cetera, et cetera. The verdict is?
Yeah, for this one, it was mostly, I'm gonna say putting them in. So I did mostly like with the kids I work with, and it was mostly allowing them to be put in positions of trust, and that way, like, I feel like it was more of a mutual like trust thing. Like if they were put in a position to do something that eyes weren't on them 100%, like taking the trash out or taking the bulk cart back or putting breakfast out, and just kind of gaining like that 1% better trust towards them, that they can do something without basically having their hand held, and that in both ways, like if that way they felt like they trusted me more because I could trust them.
Yeah, that reciprocation type
Yeah.
Which we'll get to again. For me, I forgot about it. I remember doing the 1440 last week and talking about it, and then I meant to do it this weekend and I forgot. But I just asked Steph what she thought. And she
Doing it on the fly.
Yeah, pretty much, because I forgot, and I was writing stuff for the podcast tonight, and I was like, oh, I should probably ask her. So she basically said that I try to be my best self around her and expect her to be her best self as well. And then I'm always like on her side or back her up, whatever the situation is. So that was good to hear. She also said that I need to be a little more open to some stuff. So it's really easy to do like when we're right beside each other, but when I get into a mood or I'm just trying to get stuff done, really say what's going on. Just short lingo because I want to get stuff done.
You always get that feedback.
Yeah,
Be more open.
yeah, that's literally what I get all the time from everybody is spend more time on things. So I got to continue to work on that to build the trust and build those relationships. But I would say overall it was a good plus. So we're going to work on sharing some more as we keep going.
Quote of the week this week is leadership is potent combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without strategy.
Say that one more time.
Leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without the strategy. By Norman, I don't know how to say that last name.
Schwarzkopf. Schwarzkopf, I don't know. He's famous.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is a great quote because we're talking all about strategy and how to influence people, but no matter what, if you don't have relationships or trustworthiness or have good, clean character, then the strategy goes out the window because nobody cares, nobody's going to listen unless you have that character that they know you're going to follow through or you're going to back them up or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I just hold this up too, but for me, it's like character is choosing the difficult thing to do when the easies are in front of you.
Yeah, I agree. And like we'll talk later in some of the questions we discussed that if you're not willing to, and I said it was school, if you're not willing to do the dirty work yourself, how can you expect somebody else to do it? So if you don't have that character or you're not thankful for people lower than you on the totem pole, then your business or your goal as your team is not going to kind of go where you want it to go, right? So in college, our strength coach, Jed Smith, who's still at UNI to this day, always talked about, we had we called a mind candy before each lift, and we'd go through a PowerPoint or talk about something leadership-wise or hard work or motivation, whatever it might be. Sometimes it's just a daily schedule, but one thing he really stressed was to do the dirty work or do the work that nobody else wants to do. So pick up the weights properly, spin them so the Panthers is facing upright, wipe down the bench properly, pull the bench completely in, wipe down the windows, clean your sweat off the ground, right? That's not, I mean, it's the janitor's job, yes, but if you're willing to go the extra mile and make it look nice, like every time LeBron goes to a game and he takes his jersey off after the game, he puts it right in a pile for the laundry person. He doesn't just throw it so it's everybody's all over the place. He makes everybody put their jerseys on top of each other in a bin, or if they don't have the bin, then right on top of each other in a nice line. So that makes one, everybody's job easier, and two, shows respect. Three, shows the diligent detail of you doing, I guess, even the dirty work, because you're not being more humble. You're not too good for something, right? So character is always number one compared to strategy, I think. But if you're talking about strategy, I think you should have Vitargo, because that will help your workout strategy for sure. Now, I've been on a good Vitargo kick lately. I've been having the plain and mixing it with protein, and let me tell you, that is a sneaky good benefit. Like, I love it. I think it really helps that glycogen, like I said a couple weeks ago, and gets that fast recovery. And I think it boosts my recovery with Whoop. And I haven't lifted that hard in a week for a long, long time. But I was in the green 5 of 7 days last week. And I believe that's due to Vitargo. My sleep also went up. But I think it's the Vitargo. That's what got it going. Anyways, we're taking a break and we're going to run back to you guys. You guys buy your Vitargo too, thanks.
Every single one of you.
Yep. All right. Now that everybody's bought their Vitargo and Taylor's hacking along, we will start talking about strategic influence, okay? So strategic influence is basically the ability to have some sort of a plan moving forward for the organization, but we're not going to talk about it in terms of an organization. We're going to be talking about it in terms of life. Okay, so what's your plan moving forward? What are the steps you need to take to increase the percentage to be successful in that plan? And why is that plan important? And who do you need to help you
Right.
to get there?
Yeah. You have a vision when you have influence upon your life and yourself. You have motivation.
Yeah.
You have something you can look back towards and be like, okay, I've made it this far towards the thing you want to achieve, or you haven't made it that far, and something you need to work on, or something you haven't even thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a strategy, when you have a vision, when you have momentum in your life, it spreads towards other people that you are trying to have an influence on.
Yeah. Okay, going off that, I guess, what visions, okay, so life's going to be changing a lot for us since we're moving out, all that kind of stuff here in a few months.
That is,
Going back to school, I'm getting married,
I'm not.
weather's changing. So there's going to be changes, obviously inevitable, right? It's going to keep happening. But what are some things you're focusing on or prioritizing in your life right now, that's a vision you have for your future that you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, vision right now. I'm throwing it up in the air and going back and forth between living by myself and finding new roommates. And then on top of that, either moving out of state or staying in Iowa. So I haven't quite figured out the direction I'm gonna move in yet. Yeah, I threw up a poll on Instagram the other day, and the top two were stay in Iowa and move to Arizona.
So you're gonna let others influence you, huh?
That's enough.
Where do you?
I always like seeing other people's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's good to take advice, but with a grain of salt. So
Yeah.
I always think, like, for the plan for your life, you should always be, like, excited about it, you know? Like, I don't like school, but I am excited to read a sports psychology book. Like, that excites me. I would do that for fun.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. I love the visions. I love it. And I love putting that work to try to get to that vision.
Right.
And then that day hits and I either am successful or fail. And it sucks. I don't like it no matter what usually.
And yeah.
Because then it's like somewhat it's over.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like football, I love like thinking, okay, in 6 months I need to be at this point. I love thinking about that, and then I go day by day to do it. Like right now, I'm really into my training again for lifting, and I just think day by day what I got to do and how I'm already getting better. And I love that vision and seeing it. Some days it sucks, but then I look forward to that next day of rest or whatever it might be. So I love that. I'm excited about it, you know. And whenever you have a vision, you have to be excited. And it also has to be some sort of a challenge. Otherwise, it's like kind of pointless.
Yeah. And sorry, that's like my specific is like where I'm going to be living. Like the main vision of like I feel like the next year is to challenge myself and push myself out of my comfort zone, which I mean you should be doing anyway, but that's just like something I want to focus on. Like next week, like I've been talking about starting jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And that I nailed it down that I'm actually going to start this week. And that's my first class is Wednesday. So tomorrow when you hear this.
You signed up for it.
And so I get one trial week, 3 trial days.
Yeah.
And that those this week. And then just see how it goes.
Pause on that point for a second. That's okay. I think that's important because when you have a vision, if you never follow through with the plan or you never do it, and then what the heck is the point? I hate the strong word when people are like, yeah, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then they don't even attempt it. Like, if you're going to take the risk, fine, take it and go for it. If you're not, then don't even like it's fine to like talk about it, but if you're serious, like you say, I'm gonna do this, then shut up and do it, you know? At some point, there's only, like, you can talk all you want, but in the end, talking doesn't get the job done.
Yeah.
I love how business meetings, like they have to spend 4 hours in a business meeting. Right? Sometimes you do if you're having a big thing, but in the end, talking about it, making sure everybody's on the same page is great. And I think that's important, but at some point, the action has to be taken. If you don't have the action, if you're not trustworthy in that, then not only can you not follow or trust yourself, but there's no way anybody else in a business setting or a team setting is going to trust you.
Right.
It's kind of like being on your own leader, you know?
Yeah. And so that's something I've been talking about for 1 month now, maybe a little over a month. And then my knee hurt, and I was more scared than anything that I was going to re-injure my knee.
Mm-hmm.
But this week I just thought, hey, I gotta start with myself. I gotta start taking the next step,
Some point you got to start.
Yeah, and then here in 3 weeks, a month, on taking a solo trip up to South Dakota, going to a national park and a few other parks, and that someday I'm going to do another solo travel trip.
Taking your car to that?
No, I rented a car. I take it in my car.
I don't know. I was curious.
I've been trying to break down and live in South
That's
Dakota.
an experience. Like I told Steph when we go to Australia, I was like, let's literally like do like not a couch surf, but there's other stuff like this, just called a stay away or something.
Yeah.
Or a house swap, and just stay with somebody.
I got it. Yeah.
I was like, why not? Like let's just or work for somebody, but we don't have we're cutting the trip down now, so we don't have time to work for somebody. But I think that'd be just a cool experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is growth right here.
Yeah.
When Austin and I went on a trip a year or 2 years ago, I was like, hey, let's couch surf. And he's like, why would I ever stay on a stranger's couch?
Yeah.
That's not happening. And then finally he got into Airbnb. He's okay with that. And now he's talking to his fiance, soon-to-be wife, about living on another person's couch.
I just think the people you meet is such a good experience. I literally want it just for the experience.
This is growth right here.
So if you can, it is. I literally wrote it down, and once I write, this is the key. This is also the motivation and the vision. You gotta write it down. And for me, once I write it down, I'm doing it. I don't care if I write down to go get margaritas or go bowling. If I write it down, I am doing something like that. And I suck at getting told no. I break my leg in half. I'm still gonna run the marathon that day. I don't care what it is. I'm not pushing it back. I'm running it. In a wheelchair. I'm gonna do it. I'm so stubborn, but when I write something down, it's gonna happen. That's why I get angry when things don't go my way. I need to surrender a little bit more. Sometimes like I think about the spiritual, this is going off topic here, but I think about the spiritual version. We were at RCA last week and somebody said they've been working on surrendering themselves during Lent.
It's a good word.
Yeah, it really is. It's a strong, powerful word. I actually wrote it down to be a podcast episode.
Writing it down.
It was so good. So I suck at getting told no, and I don't change. Like somebody got sick, so they changed their tour for singing. They like just canceled it all. And I was like, why would you do that? I was like, just cancel 2 days and hope you get better and keep going. You know? I was like, no matter what, I'm gonna keep going.
Like injuring like your voice can like
I know
life like
I know, but I just can't do it. Like I have to stop myself from working out sometimes because like I don't need to do extra today. I feel good. I don't need to do extra today.
Then you're in it and you're like,
yeah,
I got it.
Exactly.
I got the 3 extra reps.
Then you get going and you're like, I can't stop. I'm gonna make this happen. Like I injured my hip or whatever, right? I'm frustrated with it because I thought it was really getting better. So today I tried to do like an actual like kicking swing motion. Hurt so bad, and I was like, oh crap, like this is not better.
Is that scary?
Yeah.
Next year?
Yeah. It's
or even later this year?
Well, 2 things. I'm not going to kick until June 1st, or really June 6th, no matter what.
So 2 months.
2 months. So that would be 3 months of not kicking, which I need the break anyways. But I thought originally, like I talked about on the 1440 last week, like if I should be done or if it's just a bump in the road. And if I keep re-injuring it, then I think that's the time that it's a time to be done type deal. Right. But I don't think I'm there yet. And I'm so stubborn that I'm like, it'll happen. Like when I heard it, I was like, I got to kick once this week just to make sure it's fine to kick.
I can see you you're like, I'll switch legs, start kicking right
see,
foot.
That's what I think. That's what I am. I'm like that because then I was like, screw it, I'll do this instead.
You're like, I got 6 to 9 months to prepare. I'm gonna start kicking
I'm gonna
right
make it
foot.
happen, you know. And some of that's great, and I'm so naive and work hard. But on the other side of things, it's like, what are you doing? Don't be an idiot, you know.
Did you switch and kick right footed?
No,
No.
not at the NFL level. No, definitely not.
I don't know.
No, I mean I can make like a 45-yarder, but it's got to be a great day, and it's just not enough height.
You just got to be on your side.
Yeah, Jesus literally got to carry that ball through the uprights.
What is that? What is that move? Is that? I remember the Titan
What?
when the wind changes. What is that? What is that movie where he kicks the wall? He was a soccer player, and then he goes out for the football team. Oh my gosh, what is that movie?
Little Giants? I don't know.
No. Yes, you know it. As soon as like you see it, you don't remember it.
Yeah, I just don't know off the top of my head. Is the soccer
His
player?
dad's in a wheelchair, and he goes out and he barely kicks the backup kicker. The main person gets hurt. That's not the main theme of the movie, but it's part of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god, it's not remember this.
No, it's not. It's not that for sure. I know that. I don't know what it is, to be honest. But
anyway, it's about faith because the coach has like a broke down car. They can't get pregnant. Anyway, great movie. Whatever it is, watch it.
yeah. Also, what I was thinking, like with the kicking stuff and like the vision, you also got to be like, it really humbles you to have something bad happen.
Yeah.
You know, like.
That's life. Bad things can happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's say you go on a trip, and that's why I asked about your car. Like, what if it breaks down? That's just, everybody's like mad about it. Now, I think, like, if I break down, that sucks. But you know what? That's a great experience to have. Like, you're in the middle of the highway by yourself in I would consider a desolate area, probably.
Yeah. You're like, Austin's
Yeah.
over here having the time of his life on the side of the highway.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be having the time of my life. But, like, what would you do, you know? Like, it's just a good experience, and I don't maybe wish that would happen, but every bad experience I have now, it's a new experience to speak about, to talk about,
Right.
and just to have lived through, and it helps make you a better human in general. It definitely humbles you. No, it helps. As much as we like to be in control, and this episode's about control and strategy, we need to surrender. Like me, I need to surrender my wants. And just be okay with wherever life goes.
Right.
Because like my vision, I got a lot of avenues right now. A lot of avenues. So I would hit on here sometime. But
you should watch I Still Believe. So I keep talking about movies, but it's like a God movie kind of. But it's Jeremy Camp's kind of biography type thing.
like
Talks about his wife passes away.
hopefully my wife doesn't pass away. I always said if my wife passed away, I'd become a priest. That's a sign. I don't know. I don't know.
You're laughing, but
Yeah.
from past conversations, that's funny.
Yeah, just interesting. So anyways, okay, so first we got that vision, right?
You never even said your vision. If I'm over here talking about my 1
Okay.
year,
Yeah.
like,
So I got a lot of visions. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna talk more about my vision in the 1440.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of background that I want to go. I want people to listen to this one, and then they'll hear my vision, and they'll kind of see how it all comes together.
'cause I feel like I'm always out here under the bus.
Yeah, no, it's because I like
I'm kind of
ask
move on.
questions. Yeah, I got you. But I'll go through it all, so it'll be
I feel like this is my therapy session.
Yeah, good. You need it. Everybody needs therapy. I'll be your sports psychologist and your mental health coach in
Right.
general.
Because all the sports I do it.
I'll be called a mental performance coach, and this is technically mental and it's performance, and I'm coaching you, so mental performance coach, check.
As long as I get.
You don't get money, you're paying me to do it. If we get enough people to listen to the ad, we make 1 cent. Bingo. Anyways,
Right.
okay, so in your decision, or in any decision, I guess, you obviously have some sort of team, right? So we've talked about in our joy and happiness and a couple other things for episodes. You always have to have some sort of a team, right? There's no way of getting around it. So why put the thing on Instagram and ask for people's advice? Why, how do you know who to trust? We've talked about that as well, but how do you decide, I guess, how others might affect what you have to do, and what tasks. I guess yours is a little more interpersonal. So, what tasks do you need to do to figure out the next step in your life?
Yeah. I think his relationships, especially like our circle, the circle you have, the people that.
Sorry, can I say something quick?
Yeah, of course.
So I was thinking, I wrote this down the other day. So like our circle is like the people in Des Moines, right? That was, for me at least, that's like my circle. And then I have my family.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say a chunk.
So for me, it's pretty much all my circle. Like 95% of my circle is Des Moines.
Yeah.
So that circle, I think you're really close, interpersonal, meaning including others, needs to be tiny.
Yeah.
And then I think your next circle, which is all your acquaintances, your other friends, all that kind of stuff, needs to be huge. Because those are your connections in the business world. Those are people that you can talk to and stay with if you travel. Wisdom you can learn from, people you might follow on Instagram that are friends. And then the third circle is everybody else in the world that doesn't matter, to make it simple. They're just there. I just thought about that, and I think that's a great visual.
And on top of that, how you said like the Des Moines people are like your main circle.
Yeah.
And mine is only like a chunk. Is really like kind of like where we're at in life. Like I'm still in my singleness and that kind of like still figuring myself out and everything. Where I'm just gonna go men, but you, Will, and Nate are all engaged or married.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is different like spots in life.
Yeah, because I think you guys relate a lot more to each other because of where you're at in life, and I'm kind of just like chilling over here, vibing on my own. I think a lot is where it comes from.
Some of it, yes, but I also just think like, so in high school, I did not like doing anything. And then in college, I was like lonely until I met friends. And now like, I know I'm going to move away for at least 6 months, at least minimum 6 months. So I'm trying to like, I want to have a poker night once a week. I want to do game night once a week like we did in college, like just to get everybody together and doing stuff. Like I want to reenact Friends. Like I've been really watching Friends lately, trying to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not going to be exactly like that because real life is in the way, but I just think that's what's really important to me. That's why I want to get the guys together like we did last May. Like relationships are the number one thing. My thing in life is God, the small circle, then the big circle to an extent, and then my career aspirations, right? So those, I mean, anybody who knows me knows my order is that right there. And fourth is probably travel, if I had to put something on it, like after goals and stuff, but stuff kind of intertwined. So I think we are at different points and that plays a role. But for me personally, my circle is like that because my circle is going to impact my vision in life and where I want to go next. I go a lot of avenues in this talk too. We could talk about like my relationship with Stephanie. We could talk about we got all sorts of stuff.
That's why I think like
discombobulated.
Yeah. Especially yours, like that's why like you want those relationships.
And having those connections is going to help me in the business world. Like it is, even if they're so-called nobodies right now. Like nobody we know is so-called famous, right? But just their experiences and listening to them. I used to hate sitting down and talking to people. I would love to have everybody come over one by one, share stories. Remember Len Froyen? You know Len? Remember Deacon at St. Stephen's? So he actually came to one of my classes in college and spoke, and he wrote like 2 books, you know that? So he talks, he said the most important thing when you're around people is to share stories. I could literally sit, have a glass of wine, and listen to stories for 5 hours.
That's why people like campfires or like bonfires.
Yeah.
You sit around and just like talk.
And you get to 2 a.m, it's like, holy cow, it's 2 a.m, you know? Like Knights of Columbus the other day, one of my friends I teach with, he wants to be on the podcast, by the way. He was talking about political issues. But anyways, he was telling how
I'm here to listen.
they sat and drank beer after the fish fry
Mhm.
until 2 a.m. They sat, keg in the middle, drink beer, talk, play cards. 2 a.m. they went home after they cleaned up. They're just sitting there. Big hall. I pictured like the hall and they're just sitting there. 2 a.m. they finally went home. Like that's a good experience to have.
Mhm.
Hence why I want these other things in my life. But I'll get to more in the 1440.
And then you're over here, you're mad because it's 11 o'clock at night and everyone's too loud.
Yeah, like or 5 a.m. and somebody's hacking up a lung and doesn't close the door and all this other stuff.
Hey, I'm sorry, I have COVID. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Something like that.
I'm trying my best to not cough at all
You're
during
doing
this
good on the
podcast,
podcast.
but also I've tried very hard last week to stop coughing, and for some reason I feel like I'm going to live forever with this cough.
You might. Maybe you should start smoking. That helps. Or
So
just
not
kidding.
cough.
We don't promote smoking on here. Anyways,
But relationships for me, I think I'm really gonna again developing the relationship with yourself.
so how's it gonna help your vision
Help my vision.
right now?
I think I have a deeper understanding of myself, and like I mean I already have a pretty good understanding, and but I think it just like will continue to like depthen it and find out more. Like you just challenge yourself, and
Yeah.
that like every situation it takes you to a new place.
Yeah.
And that in your life, so I just think like that will just take me, so I'm able to handle things more on my own.
Yeah.
And that my biggest fear, like I talked about it earlier, I wouldn't say my biggest fear, but one of my biggest fears is breaking down the side of the road, or being stuck, or getting in a car crash. Anything in a car, kind of a big fear of mine.
Yeah.
If it's raining,
It
snowing, any type like that, instantly my palms are sweaty, my knees are weak. Not really, but
that is one reason that it's nice to travel with somebody else because it takes that stress kind of off.
Yeah, and
especially if it's not your car.
Yeah.
It really, you can't. There's a certain dollar amount that you could pay up to like not have that stress. Like I pay $500 for you to do this. You drive your car instead of me drive it. If you're going across country or whatever, like that would be worth it to some people.
And then, I think my vision, just going out in jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna meet new people, to challenge myself.
So how long? Or I mean, obviously you have a date for moving. Kind of.
Yeah.
I guess a soft.
I guess my vision was only kind of like a year.
Okay.
Or like shorter.
So what's the vision on jiu-jitsu? Is that a year? That's a month? That's just the 3 classes and you reevaluate?
That's the thing is like I don't know. I heard really, really good things about it, about how like just how you see life and the decisions you make and the flow of everything that comes your way. And people just think some people think it's great. Other people have tried it and said it's not for me. Yeah. So I hope I really enjoy it and I want it to be long term, but it's kind of just in that test phase. And that I might like it for the 3 and I might do it for a month. And then I might like, hey, this isn't it. Kind of how I said you working out. Like I worked out weights for a month, and then it took me to really get into weightlifting. It probably took me 6 months, on and off. And then I kind of took it heavy. Serious.
How do you know if it's like you said it took you 6 months?
Yeah.
Like how do you know if it's worth doing longer?
For me, I just want to relate it back to like working out. Because I feel like it's the easiest way to relate to a lot of things. Those people. I felt the challenge in that like I was like looking at it and I like didn't really know what to do, and so I started looking at videos, and then I found it more enjoyable when I was moving up in weight. So kind of like hitting like small goals, small successes, and I was like, okay, me working out or wanting to eat healthy is providing this value in my life, so I want to continue it for another month. And I think it goes in ebbs and flows. Like more times I don't want to work out or don't eat as healthy.
No, that's everybody.
Yeah. And but as an overall for the past year, 2-3 months. Like,
Yeah. I was
it's been
thinking,
enjoyable.
yeah, I was thinking
What
today,
about you?
or not today, I was thinking yesterday, I gave up like sugar for Lent, so I'm trying not to eat like any sugar, although sometimes I cave in like, or I'll put like syrup on pancakes. So I've been changing stuff to have more carbs when I've been working out harder, but it's just like something different to eat,
Mm.
and it fills that cup a little bit, you know? So everybody's gonna have those ups and downs, but I think no matter what, like it was important for me to realize, this is a dumb example, but it was important for me to realize like, hey, you're kind of cheating the system here by eating the crap, but it's not sugar, it's just fake, you know?
Yeah.
So I think you got to be real with yourself no matter what is going on. Like, okay, what's the priority? Why would I want to move? Or for me, like my reality is like traveling, because we're trying to do a lot of traveling. What is my focus right now? Is it to travel? Is it to make some money and travel? Is it to do CrossFit? Is it to kick footballs? What's the priority? And if it is to travel, I got to be real that, hey, I don't have enough money to travel, not just backpacking and staying in hospitals for that long. Like that's not possible, you know?
Yeah.
So again, how can I surrender something? Because life's not perfect, unfortunately. Like I want to go to Fiji and American Samoa. Currently, you can't go to American Samoa because there's no flights in and out because of COVID. Like they literally just shut down a month ago, and they're reevaluating here soon. So I could have to go back there. So am I okay with that? Doesn't matter. I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But I got to be real. I can't be like, this is probably going to happen when it's 90% likely to not. You know, like I can't just be like, yeah, we'll just go early just in case. It's got to be. I got to be more realistic than that. Like how much money I'm really going to spend. Like Steph is always like, did you put the exact amount or did you just ballpark it? Right? If you put the exact amount, you know for sure. If you put the dollar amount that you think is going to happen, could be more, could be less, but either way, it's not perfect. You know, so you got to be real with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think the next thing to talk about is basically like in those people who might influence you, or thinking of the strategy to take the next step. And this is more of a business setting for you personally. What do you got to do to convince yourself to take the next step? Like you said, it's been 3 weeks for jiu-jitsu. I just did it.
It's kind of like you want to live a life like with no stone unturned, and that, you know, like I want to try and do as many things as I can.
I agree with
and
that.
I feel, and so kind of like how you don't like going back to places that you've been, and like I kind of feel the same way, but more or less like I'd go back somewhere if I really needed to. And but so like I just think trying, yes, and that so just getting taste of different things and seeing what fits and what moves my needle, what motivates my life, what changes my life. Because if I'm not changing or moving my needle, then I'm never going to be able to move anyone. I'm never going to be able to look back and like, hey, I tried 100 different things in 1 year, and this is the experience I got from it. This is the thought process. This is the challenges.
And that's a good like selling point right there too.
Yeah.
Like people like that point. That's one of the things of influence is, do people like it?
Yeah.
Like that would be catchy, you know? It's also kind of what we talked about for the blog you're writing for this month is like sometimes you got to say F it, you got to do it. Sometimes you got to take that risk. Sometimes you're going to fail, but that's okay. And like, you're going to regret more. Like I love the commercial, the Expedia commercial that says, would you rather like, are you going to regret the things you didn't try or the places you didn't go? Right. So for me, that really hits home because I love traveling. Whereas, I could try to make a new recipe at home, or I could travel the world.
Right.
And that's obviously an extreme example, but like the scarcity of doing something, like how often do people do it and how well do they do it?
Yeah.
Is another reason that has influence. Like there's a guy who I was looking up today that has traveled to all 193 countries and the 8 territories that aren't in the UN. He's also been to the North Pole, ran a marathon at the South Pole. Actually, it's opposite. Ran a marathon at the North Pole, been to the South Pole, and he's trying to climb the 7 tallest peaks in the world, and he's done 4 of them. That's scarcity.
Mm.
That has some sort of influence and commitment, right?
Yeah. No, why hearing that, like watching like motivational movies or more like goddamn movies, like really just like dang, like am I really like doing enough with my life?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
in real time, all we know is we have one.
yeah.
Are we doing enough? Are we pushing our life to the fullest?
Yeah, and this is a struggle because this is where I say I need to be like more surrendered. You probably fall into this boat too, because we have, and definitely, I hope Dayton's listening to this, because Dayton definitely falls in this boat too. There are some people like Steph and I, this is what I mean by relationship, like we're so opposite in so many ways. It's crazy. Like she has really one want, to be fulfilled, and she knows she's supposed to do that by helping somebody or helping people in some way. That's all she wants, right? She likes traveling, she likes food, and then me, I want to play sports, I want to do the podcast, I want to do sports psychology, I want to gym, I want to do CrossFit, I want to travel the world. Like it's crazy.
It's like the kid that you see 2 kids in a room, one's bouncing off the wall,
Yeah.
the other's just sitting there coloring.
Yeah, like I'm definitely the bounce on the wall, and she's the coloring one. It's crazy how like different people can be, and there's no right or wrong, but both are living life to the fullest in different ways. It just blows my mind how different people can be and still try to get like, I guess, the same result.
Right. Like yeah, like don't take like what Austin and I are saying, like don't take our goals and visions as yours.
Yes. You gotta have your own.
Yours is gonna be your own. Yours is gonna be completely different. You have completely different circumstances, completely different lives you're currently living. This is just a lot of ours and wants, like our wants, and like, goals, visions.
Yeah, and I want to change the world. I want to change the world. I want to influence as many people as possible. She doesn't have that vision to change the world. She just wants to help one person, which is just like crazy. Like I can't even think about it.
Right.
It just doesn't even make sense to me. But yet it's still doing the same thing. She's still putting a commitment to her story or her vision. You know.
Because one person she changes could.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on to change millions.
Exactly. So it's just very it's a good point. It's a good thought.
Big thing.
Taylor's like, yeah, I got big brain over here. But either way, that is commitment, consistency, and social proof, right? Those are what people like and influence, along with the liking and the scarcity. And then hopefully when we talk about the relationships, you get all that stuff back when you do it, right?
Yeah.
You help somebody else, somebody wants to help you in return. I was listening to a podcast today about Rich Froning, who's a CrossFit guy, and he runs this big mayhem business. And he said the people who took care of me, if they're an employee for me or they train with me, I want to make sure I take care of them and their families now. If they treated me well, I want to reciprocate that thought or action. And a lot of people want to do that for us as well in the real world, I think.
Right.
Last thing that I kind of want to hit on for points of strategic influence. Go ahead.
I was asking you, like, if you're like strategically in your life, if you're navigating your life in certain ways, then that people are going to look at you and be pulled towards you. Like you're going to be influencing other people. When you're making, I don't say making moves, but like when you're making decisions that impact your life in the direction that you want to go, people are pulled towards that because all of a sudden your emotions, the vibes you get off, like the energy, there we go. The energy you have when you walk into a room or when you're around people are pulled towards you because of the strategy you have in your life. And just, like some days, I'm not bipolar, but some days I just come in here and I just crash out.
Yeah.
And that, like, I have no motivation in the world to do anything besides lay down.
And I'm the opposite. I'll find energy no matter what I'm trying to do.
And it's like crazy because I would try, like I can try. I think this goes kind of like with my, I don't want to say like my medical history or conditions, but ever since like my thyroid's been off and that, and I had never like got it fixed.
Yeah.
And that, a lot of that plays a part, I think. undiagnosed. Not to put medical conditions on it, but I think that plays a big part into people's energy, people's goals, people's life.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit different. Like what influences me, like my strategy is totally based on the end goal. Like I was rowing on Saturday, or no, it was last Wednesday. No, it was my birthday. It was Thursday, and I was rowing, and I was doing a 5K, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this easy, and then I got going, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this under 20 minutes, and the best I've ever done it is 19:39. I didn't even try; it just happened to happen. So I was like, I'll go nice, easy, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish in like 22, and I was like, you know what? The last like 1,300 meters, I'll just go balls to the walls, and I did it, and I kept the pace up the whole time, and I was like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. I was like, this is what I need to do every time I row to work hard to get to that next step. And I think people are sometimes afraid to go to that next step because of how hard it might be. But me, that's why I have so much energy, because I have that goal. Whatever I need to do to get to that goal, I will take those. I will be up till midnight every night if I need to do it. I will love that grind. I will do it. I think I lay in bed at night and I'm like, man, I should just work out right now. I got nothing else to do.
And going from that in a different spin, like people. So one reason why I want to move is I want to have a different perspective on life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never lived outside Iowa. I've lived in different parts of Iowa, but I've never lived outside Iowa.
Yeah.
And so that different perspective on life is something that like I'm craving / want. Yeah. It also comes from travel too.
And you're young, so you got time to do it, you know?
As well, like if you're never willing to like step out of your comfort zone and put yourself in that next step, and that's something that you want to happen, and not just because you're afraid of what you already have to lose. And that's the last point I kind of want to talk about. Like if you're on a team and you are trying to influence teammates, something's going to go wrong, right? We said the car's going to break down. Let's say you move somewhere and it sucks. Okay, well, you can forgive yourself for doing that, and you had that experience. Experience is power. It so is. Experience allows you, like we said earlier, to have that influence. So you can. It allows people to relate to you. Exactly, and you have proof that you tried this or did that. And in the end, what are you down? You didn't lose 6 months of your life. You gained something, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're still working. You're still making money. Hopefully you made some friends. You did make friends. Okay, so now what's the next step in my life? Well, now maybe relationships are more important because I had no friends. Or whatever it might be. Because that's what I was looking into. A lot of places have, like, a lot of people kind of like have veterans for, like, students or people from outside the country. Yeah, that's a lot of like and that or like interns. Yeah, interns. Yeah. So I was kind of looking at that as just like a short term, kind of like a test period. Mm-hmm. But I think, so I think this goes back to your risk thing that you were talking about. I don't know what 7, 8 episodes ago. You got to take a risk at some point, because if you never take a risk, it's going to take you too long if that goal has a deadline, or you're not going to be able to accomplish multiple things. So that plan needs to be written out in a timely manner as well as an effort manner in order to make it happen. There's going to be bumps along the road. Like just thinking like, I get so mad when I get like injured. Yeah, it sucks. You take our life for granted. What, 3 months ago, I think it just happened at work for somehow, like, and my knee just like hurt. Mm-hmm. And like I don't know if I overstrained it, overworked it, whatever I did. And then I really couldn't lift for a while. And then it went away. And then I was like, okay. I was like, I'm ready. I'm going to jump into jiu-jitsu and all this stuff. And then it came back. It just hurt again. And I was like trying all the best I could. Like, I was like not really working it. I wasn't running. I wasn't pushing it to any limit. I really wasn't like Was it me this time?
All right.
Anyway, I was like really trying to like nurse it back to health, and then I was like kept getting frustrated about like this simple injury, this simple little thing.
Yeah.
But it like, how do you say it? Like the simple thing like kind of kept me from doing a lot of things.
Yeah, I think we take it for granted, but also what I want to say, go ahead.
I was just like, we just take our health for granted.
Yeah.
In general.
What I was gonna say, you just made me lose my thought actually.
Sorry. You're gonna say.
Oh, no matter what, this is what I just thought of this actually, because I think I do this, and it makes part of me why I'm stubborn, because I think I need to do that work to get to that vision. You know, I have the plan wrote out. I need to follow the plan. You can always alter that strategic plan. So I was helping a kid kick this weekend, and I was like, if this doesn't work, like you got to text me and we can change it. You know. Another thing I was thinking about, even when you're injured, you got to keep the vision, right? It's just what can I do mentally instead of physically to get better. So I can see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I think it's important to keep that vision.
Yeah. Because especially with like strategic influence, there's always a schedule. There's always like at work we have something called a 24/7. So it's our daily plan, and that we plan it out. Sometimes things change, and that from day to day, but it mostly will stay the same.
Yeah, I agree.
With that, we can plan all day long, and then something happens, and that kid gets mad, doesn't do this, and that we lost our active time because we were over here and had to CS for 2 hours instead of 1.
And that's right. Yeah, and I said it earlier. How you just gotta, something happens, a bump in the road, you gotta forgive and forget and move back to that vision. How can I still make progress on this? How can I catch up another day? It might require you to get up early. It might require extra rehab. It might require you in a business setting to talk to that team member. But again, putting in that work. Are you excited about it? It's going to be a challenge. So meet that challenge head on, right? Don't be scared of it. Take that risk. Go ahead. I was just going on a rant. I was going to give a motivational speech of a lifetime.
I was going to go into like, even though like those bumps in the road happen, with that influence that you have, you can navigate anything.
Exactly. And each influence, like I said earlier, is an experience. And people like experience, and honestly, it gives you authority over yourself, which in turn will sometime, maybe not right away, sometime give you a position of authority over somebody else. Hopefully you don't think about it over somebody, but in coordinate with somebody and make a difference in their lives. And now you have a goal together to reach. But really, in the end, I'll talk about this somewhat in my description for the 1440 that I'll give. It's all about convincing yourself that you can do it, and then putting on a piece of paper. And after you put it on a piece of paper, you got to put in the work and you got to do it, and you got to be okay with wherever life takes you. Like I said, got to surrender a little bit, but as you keep that end goal in mind, you have that vision, that plan, make relationships with others, bound to somewhat go where you're at least supposed to be. Won't be perfect, but it's going to go where you're supposed to be. And then you can think of that next step in your life. Because all those little steps add up to the big step. And that's when you start looking back and you see how much success or how much percentage you really did get back. Anything else with the challenge? Because I just gave a great spiel,
right?
In my opinion.
I think that's how we...
All right. Challenge of the week is to basically do what we've been talking about the whole time. Write out that plan to help you reach whatever your next step in life is. What's the next goal? Who are you trying to cooperate with?
How do you want less coffin?
How do you get, I thought you were going to say something. You said, how do you? And I was like, okay. Anyways, what do you need to get there to that next step in life? What's your vision? Put it on a piece of paper. Talk to the people you need to help you. Make sure they're on board. You got to be trustworthy. You got to be putting in the extra effort. And then do it as a team and see where you can get. Guarantee you're better off than you are today listening to this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With that note, make sure you listen to the 1440 on Thursday, and we'll catch you guys later in the week.
Go out, get your 1%. Have a good day. Love you. Bye.